imagine messaging someone just a smiley face. That seems threatening though, doesn't it? Like if you do nothing but you just send a little that like and then they're like, wait, what's going on? Why are you smiling at me like that? You know? Like on its own is weirdly threatening. Don't know how to do it. I guess like if I have to really think about it, I think it's because of peer pressure. Like if I have to really ask myself why and go down deeper and deeper into why, I think it's because of peer pressure. Because I grew up in a time when it was very easy to not just shun, but like mock and make fun of people who were deemed to be like quirky. You know, because back then the word quirky meant like you were doing things just for the sake of getting attention on the internet. If anyone remembers Boxy, the Boxy meme, and then it's the girl who's like sitting in her room with like a lot of makeup on, and she's like, "Oh, hello, my name is Boxy," and like the way that she talks and like how she like says all these random things and like, you know, holds up spork ooh and things like that, right? So like being quirky was kind of like there was a lot of peer pressure against it. Like nowadays it's a lot more accepted because, you know, internet culture, online culture in general has like evolved and grown to be more accepting of that. But back then it was seen as really weird, right? So what ended up happening was like I saw that kind of stuff happening and I told myself like, oh, you know, if people don't like that, then, you know, maybe it's a better thing to be like more formal, more professional, you know, talking like full sentences. Don't like, you know, the only people you would ever talk about like, oh, can I has cheeseburger, like memes like that, right? You only did that with your closest friends and you never talked that way to anyone else because it was seen as cringe and it was seen as quirky and all that. So maybe I ended up like internalizing that a bit more to the point where now I just, everything that I do, every single interaction I have with other people ends up being like, it's gotta be formal, you know, because I'm, you know, part of me is still that like 15-year-old kid who just wants, you know, a little bit of validation and like not to be disliked and stuff like that. So like even now, I don't know, like whenever Hakka says things like, or not Hakka, whenever Fleon says things like, oh, you know, like, don't you ever want to let loose and, you know, go crazy? And the answer is no, because I don't know how to be. I don't know how to let loose. Because for all these years, I've like suppressed that part of me because I've seen how people treat others when they act that way, you know? And now, like, I know, like, it's a lot more accepted that, you know, things have changed and people are a lot more accepting nowadays. But having grown up in that kind of environment for so many years, it does a number on you, you know? So, like, when Flayon says, you know, do you want to go crazy? I don't know, maybe the answer is sometimes yes. I just don't know how. I never gotten that practice when I was younger because I was so scared of it. Maybe if I did get the practice when I was younger, it'd be a lot better now, but hindsight's 2020, right? Yeah. Just to make freaking lose it. I don't know. Getting bullied for just being yourself makes it really hard to let loose. Yeah. And then it stays with you for a while, you know? Like, I want to say that, you know, things get better over time. But what I'm realizing more and more is that it doesn't actually get better over time. You just get better at ignoring it, you know? You get better into falling into a routine where everything you do is safe for you, you know? You just get very good at that routine. But like all the other stuff that you were scared to do, you don't do those anymore. Like you have to still go out of your way to do it. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Like if it's something that lasted, you know, all your childhood, it still stands out as a thing that really makes you worried. Like it's easy in the sense that as you get older, more and more responsibilities come up, more and more obligations come up. So, you know, when it comes to like, oh, maybe I'm not good at public speaking, right? But you have a job to do, you have bills to pay, you have, you know, all these things like, you know, classes to go to, work to go to and all that, right? So you're like, okay, let me just focus on public speaking another time, and you put it away. And then you fall into the routine because you don't have to use it. And then you blink your eyes and 5, 6, 7, 8 years goes by and you still haven't practiced public speaking once because you've just been busy, you know? And maybe it's because you tried public speaking in high school or middle school once and someone made fun of you for it. And since that point, you just never really went back into it. It sounds scarier than it should because of the VGF. No, it's supposed to be introspective and like kind of sombering. It wasn't supposed to be threatening. It's just like a thing that I noticed for myself. After like 30 years of this, you get very good at being in your own head for a bit too long, probably. No, it's fine. It's being silly. Something that you need to go through for real. It takes time to improve. Some take a while, some take longer. Thank you for sharing. Of course. Put a positive twist to it. Things will get better. You can't escape it. You will become a better version of yourself.
好きなもので満たしたいだけ世界と